Hello YouTube, in this video I have a war story for you, and this story is about an army freaking man named Frosty freaking Frank, and Frosty Frank has all the rank in the freaking army, and the US Army has invaded Afghanistan, and they are in their Humvees preparing for a freaking Operation Thunderstruck, and they are having their conversation, and the freaking Humvee convoy is rolling in the dead. They have their M4s leaning at the freaking doors, and then Frosty Frank says to the gunner in the tank with the radio freaking phone that I think that there's somebody watching over us in the freaking mountain range above, and the freaking gunner from the tank named Black freaking Feather, and the gunner answers through the radio freaking phone that don't freaking worry, just freaking relax, we have the upper hand in this freaking firefight that is probably gonna ensue in just few minutes time. And then Frosty Frank says to the gunner of the Humvee that he's in that, do you have a visual on the enemy? And the gunner name is Billy, and Billy says to Frosty Frank that yeah, I see an outpost and some freaking movement. Frosty Frank says that don't open fire yet, now let's spread this convoy. The Humvees take some distance from each other, and then they open the doors and hide in the scenery. There's a lot of big rock boulders in the desert, and they go behind them, and then the gunner of the tank shoots the first freaking round to the freaking mountain range, and the Afghani guys start shooting at the freaking American army guys, and the army guys they fall to the freaking ground and open fire with their M4s, their M16s, and around the then the Navy SEALs that were hiding in the mountain range descend into the enemy outpost with their silenced M4s, and at that point the army corps turns down their fire, and the freaking Navy SEALs go through the enemy outpost, and with their silenced M4s take the bad guys freaking out in just few minutes time. And that was freaking war for Frosty Frank for many years. That's how it went for him like every freaking day. And when he came back home from the Afghanistan, it was so freaking boring. For example, when he was making an omelette out of eggs one morning, he screamed at the freaking door of his apartment that dude, this modern life freaking sucks. There's no firefights, no Humvees or hell fires at all. He looked through this window of his apartment to the streets of the New Orleans and just freaking sighed that yeah, I have to do something about this. And then he went to lay on his couch and freaking almost fell to sleep. But he had a freaking nightmare from the war freaking time in Afghanistan when his brother freaking Winnie was freaking like shot by an Afghani guy and he got wounded pretty freaking bad. Now he sits in a wheelchair and he's back home in America. But still, Frosty freaking Frank was dealing with all kinds of flashbacks, and when the Frosty Frank was just laying on his couch, he realized that he could travel backwards in time through his flashbacks, and then he time traveled backwards in time to the era of the real gangsters with their fedoras, their Cadillacs, their Pontiacs, and their freaking Tommy guns. And Frosty Frank met this gangster freaking boss through his freaking flashback in the freaking jazz club, and the gangster boss's name was Slow Johnny. And Slow Johnny said to the freaking Frosty Frank that in the freaking mob you will find all the firefights, the wildest freaking nights, you will never ever be bored, so why not just join us? There's so much freaking money, fast cars and firefights. We don't yet have Humvees, but who even cares? I'm a army man too. I went through freaking hell in the world freaking wars, I shot all the freaking Germans and the Japanese, it was the freaking raddest warfare ever fought. And when I came back to this freaking normal world, it was so freaking boring and stupid and all of that I had to freaking form my own gangster freaking gang. I named this gangster thing Pink freaking Gangsters. We wear these pink suits and we have our Tommy guns decorated with frills, and I have freaking minds. Do you under freaking stand? We have all the freaking style. And that's how Frosty freaking Frank joined the freaking mob It was through his flashbacks. I bet that you have never heard anyone do storytelling like this. That's pretty rad now. That's the story for you.